everyone. Welcome to Black Talk. I'm your host, thejrstewart. And this is actually the show that I had planned to do last night. But as you guys know, it was preempted by the Don Lemonhead and his gang of stupid followers invading the church, protesting ICE at the church. So anyway, I didn't get a chance to do this show last night, so I'm doing it tonight. Better late than never. So, of course, my name is thejrstewart, author, speaker, extraordinary person. And on the screen, you should see four names, doctors. Um, these are internet doctors or social media doctors. They're real doctors. They have practices, but they also have YouTube channels. And I've listed them in the order that I followed them. Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Eric Berg, and Dr. Boz. Boz is not her real name, but she goes by Dr. Boz. But anyway, look these people up. Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Tony are great. Dr. Eric and Dr. Boz they're great for explaining things. They give really detailed explanations on how stuff works, why it works, and so if you want all of the technical ins and outs of things, then those two are the ones to watch. But Dr. Ken Berry, he's just plain simple, keep it straight. Here's what you do, here's what you don't do, here are the medicines that are okay to take, here's probably what you shouldn't take, and here's why you shouldn't take them. He's just pretty straightforward. Dr. Tony is good because he's not necessarily anti-traditional medicine, because he'll let you know that I do prescribe. He's a weight loss doctor, that he prescribes traditional medicines, but he also works with you on your diet, lifestyle, exercise, and as soon as you bring your health markers down to a safe level, once you get your body healthy, he pulls back and takes you off the medication, and which is always a good strategy. I have the hardest time after. I feel like I'm going to battle with my doctors all the time. Every time I go to see them, I have a primary care doctor. The ophthalmologist is okay, that's my eye doctor. But the primary care doctor and the cardiologist, it just seems like every visit is a battle with them. And I'm not trying to do battle with them. You guys are supposed to be on my care team. That's how they describe it. You have a care team now. All your doctors and nurses and physical therapists, occupational therapists, all together makes your care team. And their goal is to get you healthy, keep you alive. But it just seems like I'm always butting heads with my primary care doctor and my cardiologist. I just don't feel like we're on the same page. And I hate that, because now I feel that or especially the cardiologist, I feel that it's getting a little passive aggressive, and there are things that I start to ask for that they claim that they can't give me, or they don't do it, or make some excuse for it, and then I find out they actually did it. This is why the title of this video is Managing Your Health. You have to be in charge of your health care. Don't just leave it to your doctors, or your doctor or doctors. I don't know how many you have, one of many. Don't just leave it up to your doctors to manage your health care. Because you should know your body almost better than you want. And when they prescribe medicine for you, if you're having any kind of side effects, you feel any kind of way, report it to them. Let them know. I was taking this and my hair fell out. I was taking this and I couldn't sleep at night. I was restless, or frequent urination, or whatever it is that you discovered from taking the medicine, report it. The next thing, whenever they prescribe medicine to you, don't be afraid to go online. You have ChatGPT, you have Gemini, you have Copilot, you have all these AIs out here. WebMD, where you can go, and actually you go out to the FDA.gov, and they have a section there where you can type the medicine that you're taking, and it will give you all their studies that were submitted to approval for this medicine, all the side effects that they discovered. Because sometimes you ask a doctor, what are the known side effects? I do this every time they get the pad out. Oh, I want you to take this. Okay, what are the known side effects? I have yet to get a straight answer. The answer I get is, oh, this has been approved. It's been in circulation a long time. We've been prescribing this for years, and it's safe. That's what they say. It's safe. Wait a minute. I asked you about side effects. I asked you, hopefully it is safe to take. But sometimes medicines are not safe. And so when I go and do my own research, like I go to FDA.gov site, I punch in, one of the things I looked up was metformin, because I'm diabetic. And they put me on metformin, prescribed it for me. Told me it's going to bring my blood sugar down, A1C down. And so I go there and I look at the studies, and I'm poking around, and I run across an interesting study that said over the long term, metformin is really bad for you. That it starves your cells of oxygen. It's almost like taking strychnine. You guys heard of that poison that we generally put out for rats and rodents. And if you ingest it, it basically suffocates you internally. It doesn't squeeze your throat or anything. Your throat doesn't swell up and where you can't breathe. Your lungs don't swell up where you can't breathe. No. It basically keeps the cells in your body from absorbing oxygen, so they can't oxidize the fuel, and they slowly die. You die. The rodents die when they ingest this stuff. The metformin does this over a long period. If you take it for a long period of time, you are slowly killing yourself. And so I go back to our primary care doctor, and I present her with this. And I said, hey, you need to take metformin off. I'm not going to take it. Well, my Mr. Stewart, why aren't you going to take it? So I ran across a study that suggests that taking metformin long term will slowly kill you, slowly suffocate you. Keeps your cells from absorbing oxygen out of the blood. I'll slowly die. Why would you give me this if it's going to slowly kill me? Why would the government even approve something like this? Well, she said, you got to be careful reading these studies. You got to make sure it comes from someplace you can trust. She said, this is the government website, FDA.gov. We can't trust the government to approve this medicine to be pushed out to the public? They approved this medicine for consumption. On their own website, in their own studies that were submitted to them for approval. There's a warning there that long-term use will slowly kill you, suffocate you. And so, of course, I didn't take the metformin. Just last year, in June, I got, giving you a back history of my story. I come out of the Marine Corps, a lean, mean, 230 pounds, chiseled body, six-pack, all that good stuff, best shape of my life. Over the years, I'm married, I have a child, life just catches up with you. I slow down. I'm eating out a lot, eating lunch at work, eating breakfast on the way to work, stop and grab a snack on the way home, eating dinner. My wife was a good cook. Over time, I just gained weight. Went from a nice, lean, mean 230 pounds to 20 years later, I was 350 pounds and very sick. Very sick. Just, it's gradual. The sickness sneaks up on you. It's not all at once. It may just hit you over here like a cold or the flu. You're sick then. To take something, eat chicken soup to rest, drink orange juice, Gatorade, eat crackers, whatever you do to get well. No, when you have metabolic sickness, it sneaks up on you. The weight slowly sneaks up on you. You get heavier. You get more visceral fat. Now I'm 6'4". So I can distribute the weight really well. I didn't look like a fat slob or anything. But, I was chunky. and no longer had a six pack. I mean, I was fat. I was definitely my BMI. I guess you're not supposed to use fat anymore, according to my wife and her doctor friends say they can't use the word fat. They have to or obesity. You have to use they do a little BMI challenge. I was very BMI challenged. I was way over my BMI, and my doctor had me on some heart medicine, blood pressure medicine, and I was pre-diabetic. At that point, my A1C was about 6.3, 6.4 range. You say, oh, you're not fully diabetic yet, but you're pre-diabetic. Let me tell you something about this pre-diabetic. Don't think that when the doctor says you're pre-diabetic that you have time. That's what I thought. Oh, I'm pre-diabetic? Oh, okay. Well, I guess, so I guess I'm okay. I got time. No, you don't have. Once you, I think 5.6 or below is normal. That's normal range. Anything over 5.6 to 6.5 or 6.7 is pre-diabetic. So if you were 5.7, just 1/10 over the normal range. 5.6 is normal, 5.7, now you're pre-diabetic. Just 1/10 of 1 point over. You should stop right there and realize. They can say it's pre-diabetic as if that doesn't mean anything. It does. It means a lot. It means that your body is sick. And it means that you're already on the path to your body breaking down. Your body's sick. That's the first sign. So don't take a pre-diabetic diagnosis lightly. If you're on the freeway for good health, you've already exited off and you get on the freeway for bad health now. You haven't got that far down the road on it, but you're on it. And the longer you stay on it, the worse thing it's going to get for you. I promise you that. So as soon as the doctor says you're pre-diabetic, want to give you insulin, want to give you metformin, want to give you some beta block, you have time. You do have some time to reverse it. And I'm going to tell you, and they're going to tell you. So when you ask them, well, what can I do to reverse this? They're going to tell you nothing. And once you become diabetic, pre-diabetic, you're diabetic for life. There's nothing you can do. That's not true. The doctors here in the corner that I've listed, definitely subscribe to their sites, go to their site. Go back and look at some of the old videos. Dr. Ken Berry is probably the best one because he keeps it simple and he keeps it real, just like this show. We're not pulling any punches. We're not politically correct. This is a show for grown folks talk, not for children. So go look at this, subscribe to this channel, and then go back and look at his old videos. Very informative. He'll tell you about some of the medicines that they give out. Which ones are okay to take till you get your body healthy again. Which ones you should absolutely avoid because they'll kill you over the long term. Metformin being one of them. Statin drugs is another. I'll tell you about my statin drug struggle story. So I find myself overweight and sick, probably very sick. But my condition not getting any better. I had a couple of bouts where I had to go to the emergency room, the hospital. My body had backed up with fluids, and I couldn't breathe. The doctor thought I had COPD, but it wasn't COPD. The COPD is a condition of the lungs. My lungs were fine. What happens is that the fluids built up in my body when my lungs just didn't have room to expand. So I couldn't breathe. It was hard to breathe. And they put me on Lysic, I think is the name of the drug. It also goes by another name. It starts with an F, flunaceride. I'm not good with these medicines, though I take a lot of them. Should be familiar with them. But this Lysic is good because it slowly drains the fluid out of your body. It makes you go to the bathroom like you won't believe. But in the 3-day period I was in the hospital, I think I must have urinated off 20 pounds. I went from about 350 to 320, 325. So yeah, 25 pounds got drained off in fluids. I mean, I couldn't believe it myself. I could breathe a lot easier. I went back home and I was still overweight at that point. So I decided I needed to do something about it. I was going to step up my exercise game. I started trying to eat a little better. stay away from the sweets. But when you get addicted to sugar, like I was, maybe still am, maybe I'm still addicted, who knows? The weight slowly picked back up. So I was constantly being challenged, trying to keep my weight down, trying to lose, constantly getting on the scale, getting frustrated because the scale's not going down, it's going up. I don't know what's going on here. Had a little workout gym at the house, so I didn't have to go to a gym. I could work out at home. I had all the equipment. And then out of desperation, I was on YouTube, and I was watching this video from a young lady who calls herself a steak and butter girl. And she was interviewing Dr. Ken Berry on her show. And so they were talking about this carnivore diet and how it can reverse a lot of conditions in your body, clear up inflammation, improve your blood sugar, lower your blood pressure, improve your vascular condition, your heart gets. I'm like, wow, wait a minute, really? It sounds like the Atkins diet from years ago. I was willing to try it. It was like, you do the 90-day challenge, where you want a carnivore diet for 90 days, where you eat nothing but meat, fat. We've been told saturated fat was killing us. So everybody went on a low-fat diet. Everybody was afraid to eat bacon. We're eating, faux bacon, chicken bacon, turkey bacon, rather than the real thing, because the real thing has a lot of fat, saturated fat. Stay away from fatty meats, fatty steaks. Even when I would smoke a brisket, learn to be a pit master. I'm throwing out all the fat off my brisket that I can. Because that's what they were told to do. They still do it. A lot of pit masters today still tell you, to trim out all this fat from your brisket. So when I did the carnivore diet, give it a try. And I was on a 90-day challenge. I just did it. And my weight went from 340 down to 275. Well, at 275, I felt a lot better. My blood pressure was doing well. I don't know what my A1C was at that time, but I felt a lot better. And things were good. I mean, I cheated a little bit, but I did my best to try to stay on it. And that was good until I had to go to work. Now, up until that point, most of the work that I did was from home. Consultant, architect, engineer type for networks, communication. So I would have to go into a data center on the day of an install, on the day of a build, they go live. The client wants you there in case something goes wrong. You're one person who knows how every server is connected, how every connection, what everything is doing. So if something doesn't work, you're the best person to go to fix it until the support group is up to speed and take care of it. But up until that point, all my work is done remote. Stay at home for years. That's what I did. And then I had to start doing some of my assignments, contract assignments, so I called for me to go into an office. That was my downfall. Once I got out of the house, now I'm on the road, I got to pick up something for breakfast. I trained my body not to skip breakfast, just eat lunch and dinner. 2 meals a day, carnivore, lost a lot of weight. Now I'm driving into an office again, picking up breakfast along the way. That McGriddle, this devil food. Hash browns, I love potatoes. Whataburger, their cheddar cheese, a jalapeno cheddar cheese biscuit with their little hash browns, with orange juice for $5. How can you beat it? Well, you can't beat it, but it was beating me. It beat me down. And before you know it, I gained all the weight back. I was back up to 320. And I'm fighting and struggling to get the weight off. I'm still having to go into the office. That led to surgery number 1. So I decided that I was going to get back on the carnivore diet and try to fix my body. And I did that. Got the weight back down under 300, 275. Try to get down to 250. And then once again, the contract I was on, I lost. Once the project was over, I had to find a new project to work on. And I took some more contract work that was in another city before I live in McKinney. So I'm going to drive across the Metroplex to go to work. First for AIG and then for Cook Children's Hospital. And I like to reward my team, so once a week I'll stop at the donut shop and pick a dozen donuts. The owner would always throw in a bag of donut holes for me. Call myself not eating the donuts, but I would eat the donut holes. I think that was safer. Then somebody else got in on the act, and I bring donuts on a Friday, they bring them in on Monday or Tuesday, and they would stop me at Krispy Kreme. Now I'm telling you, man, those Krispy Kreme donuts are way too sweet. But I found myself eating one or two. Way too much sugar. And before you know it, I've fallen off the wagon and I'm back in trouble again. Body fluids are building up, retain a lot of water. And eventually I had to go back to the hospital, drain fluids off my body. And another surgery. So this time I am very sick at this point. This is June of last year. Extremely sick, probably on the verge of dying. Heart was so overworked, my EF value, which is how hard they measure how hard you're squeezing, what squeezing strength your heart has. It was down to a 25. When it's that low, that's stroke or heart attack. You're supposed to die. That is, you don't recover from that when it gets down that low. I was still alive, thank God. And while I'm in the hospital, of course, they're drawing blood, doing tests, and after surgery. And the food that they're feeding, they brought in a specialist, nutritionist specialist that was diabetic, to plan my meals out. And before every meal and after every meal, they do a glucose test. Come prick your finger, take some blood, put the test strip on it, see what your glucose level is. And mine was always elevated after I ate. And so then, based on how elevated it was, they'd give you insulin. And so this went on for a couple of weeks, and I'm wondering, like, wait a minute. I'm eating hospital food. How can hospital food be raising my glucose level? This doesn't make any sense to me. You brought a specialist in to design a meal plan for me, and I'm ended up on insulin, having to take injections. Something doesn't seem right here. So I had to have a battle with my doctor, my PT person, the nutritionist, and the specialist, the diabetic nutritionist that they sent in to talk to. Because I'm not going to eat the food anymore. I'm going back on my carnivore diet because that's the one thing I can trust and I feel safe with. And the nutritionists were telling me how that's not good. It's dangerous. You shouldn't do it. They tell me all the reasons why. Well-balanced meal. You need these carbohydrates. You need your starches. You need the red. Okay. No, actually, I don't need all of that. What I need is protein and fat. Carbohydrates are not essential. Our body can make carbohydrates if our body needs it. But I need the protein. I need the fat. The fat keeps you satiated, keeps you full. It burns really slow. Brings down the cravings. So after they got tired of me complaining and pushing back, they finally gave in. Some are still in the hospital at this point. They gave in. They decided to send me bacon, sausage, eggs for breakfast. The eggs were not very good. They taste powdered, like they were powdered eggs or something, so I didn't eat it. And I generally didn't eat breakfast. I got back to I want to eat breakfast. So I would just save my bacon and sausage. And then lunch would come around. I would always order a hamburger. Because they made pretty good hamburgers, believe it or not. Nice thick sized patty. And with the trimmings and mustard. And so I would save the hamburger patty and the mustard. And then dinner, whatever they have for dinner, generally like meatloaf or something, or whatever meat item, I would order that. And sometimes I would order a soup. And they always send me a salad for some reason. I told them I don't want the salad with French dressing, 2 big packs of French dressing and salad. And sometimes they didn't even send a salad, but they always sent the French dressing. I don't know why. They did that up until the day I left. They finally stopped sending me the French dressing. But anyway, I went back to doing my OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. I went back to carnivore. So while I was in there, they were fighting to bring my blood pressure down. They were fighting to bring my glucose down. Didn't want to take the insulin. Didn't want to take the metformin. And they push all these drugs on me. And I'm telling them, look, I can do this. I've done it before through lifestyle and diet. So y'all just cooperate with me. Let me do my carnivore diet. Let me do my OMAD. These numbers will come down. After returning back to a carnivore diet and OMAD, my glucose numbers came down. When I was very sick in the hospital, my A1C was 13 or 14. It was really high, outrageously high. It came down to 10.9. And by the time I left the hospital, it was 8.5. First couple of months after I left the hospital, A1C, when it was tested again, was 6.5. I dropped 2 points. Still not taking the metformin, not taking the insulin. And I'm having to remind my primary care doctor that, that if you look at my A1C results, you see how they're coming down. And the medicine, they didn't have anything to do with that. The carnivore diet and OMAD had everything to do with it. Because if I go back to just eating with poor nutrition, not exercising, just taking your medicine, all my numbers will go back up. Medicine alone will not do it. And once they put you on these medicines, they don't want to take you off of them. And that's the other thing. It's like, when are we going to start talking about a strategy to reduce some of my medications as my health markers get better? Well, you'll never be cured of diabetes. You can't reverse it. Well, you can't reverse it. There are 4 doctors that I follow online on YouTube, 4 that are listed here, that all say different. Especially Dr. Ken Berry. That diabetes can be reversed. Vascular disease can be reversed. You have calcification in your veins, which means your veins don't stretch, they're not elastic. You got calcium in there, and the calcium is hardened up, so they can't expand. That drives your blood pressure up. Because sometimes your veins need to expand a little bit to push more blood through. So your body's trying to push a lot of blood through, but the vein is smaller. Pressure builds up, makes more work for your heart. The other thing I didn't realize what high insulin levels would do for you, cause you to be insulin resistant. And basically what that means is that your body just stops responding. When insulin is released in your body, it's a hormone. It tells your cell that, hey, there's food that's been digested, there are nutrients here, I need to come get this sugar. Get it out of the blood. You don't want high blood sugar. You don't want blood sugar, high levels of sugar in your blood for a long period of time is bad. Sugar is very acidic. It burns your organs, it burns your veins. That's how you get holes in this. That's why you have to have plaque to feel those veins, feel those burn spots, to keep you from bleeding out. And how do you become insulin resistant? Well, if you're overweight, you're insulin resistant. I can just tell you that right now. But there are people who are insulin resistant who have healthy bodies, who have normal bodies. The other way that you become insulin resistant is from eating too much, eating too frequently. Every time you eat, you put something in your mouth and swallow. Your body's going to release insulin to deal with it. Because once your digestive system digests it, those nutrients have to go somewhere. So it's like the dinner bell ringing all the time. If you're snacking all the time, then the dinner bell is ringing all the time for you and your cells to come eat. At some point, your cells can only absorb so much. Your muscles can only absorb so much, especially if you're not exercising. And when they become lump and plump, you start gaining weight. They start storing in your fat cells until the fat cells can't store it anymore. Then your body starts storing around your organs, your heart, your kidneys, your liver. There's a condition called fatty liver, and that's what that means. Instead of going to the fat cells, the fat just gets stored around your organs. When you have a beer belly, we call it visceral fat. That's what that is. Way too much fat in your body. You become insulin resistant. Your body, you just have too much. So you have to learn to cure yourself of that. You have to eat less frequently. Start by skipping breakfast. That's what I did. And I started with a 6-hour window between 12 and 6. I would eat carnivore diet until I was full. I tried not to eat anymore. Sometimes I would eat 2 meals, sometimes I eat 3 meals. But I would eat enough to make sure I was full, because you have to eat enough calories to get you through to the next day. But then I decided to do the 90-day challenge from Dr. Ken Berry. And that's basically where you go 90 days, be a strict carnivore. And I did that with OMAD, 1 meal a day. Lost a bunch of weight, got my health markers down, got my blood pressure down. All good things. Go to my primary care doctor, and now my A1C is going from 8.5 to 6.5. You know what? She didn't even want to tell me. I found out that my A1C had been reduced down to 6.5 from an ophthalmologist. You know, he said, oh, well, because I lost vision in my left eye. And that's from the high blood pressure and from the having too much sugar, having diabetes. He said, whatever you're doing, you just keep doing that. You're doing well. I was like, okay, doctor, what do you mean? You know, because whenever I go to a doctor's appointment, which is generally about once a month, I'm always trying to get some feedback. What do they take labs every month? What do they say? I'm trying to get feedback because I want to know what I'm doing is working and not working, where I need to make some tweaks. And that's what he told me. So your A1C is down to 6.5. You're doing well. So that was back in October. And so I have to wait 3 months. When my next test is going to be next month in February, where they're going to order another A1C test for me. Readjust something chair. But when I asked my doctor about my A1C, she didn't want to tell me. She didn't want to tell me, I suppose, because she's not trying to add fuel to the fire. She knows I'm already pushing back on the meds. And I'm always questioning her about the meds. What are you going to talk about a reduction? Well, once you have heart disease, you always have heart disease. Once you have diabetes, you always have diabetes. Once you have artery disease, you always have artery disease. You can't reverse it, is what she told me. And even when I met with my cardiologist just a few weeks ago, he said the same thing. You know, the artery damage that you have in your arteries, so you got some calcification, some calcium buildup, you can't reverse that. And then once the damage is done, it's done. The most you can do is maybe do a bypass, put a stent in, you know, to keep you from having a total block and you die of a heart attack or a stroke. Otherwise, you can't reverse it. Okay, once again, I found out that's not true. You can't reverse it. I find studies out there that let me say this about the studies. I have a lot of time to sit here and read studies. Usually what I do. I avoid the ones that are survey type studies, where they're just asking doctors to give their opinion. Those studies mean nothing to me. The studies I'm looking for is that you have to have a control group, a double blind, and you have to have peer review. Otherwise, if it's funded by pharma, I generally don't trust those either. Because I know that the people doing the research want to keep the money rolling in, and so they're not going to do anything to embarrass the food companies and big pharma with their studies. And so they find a way to make whatever the study aim is to come out positive, so they keep getting the grant money and the research money. Most of the studies out there are funded by pharma and by the food companies. And so there's a publication, it's really an online publication, and it's called Microcell. And all they do is go over these studies. They do peer reviews. And the person doing the review of the study would tell you if it's a good study, what the flaws were, the sample size wasn't large enough, it wasn't a true control, they didn't have a true control group because they didn't monitor these people, they didn't start out with a sick group and have two sick groups and to see if the control sick group got better. They went out and got people and put them on medicine and had a placebo. So, they'll tell you all the pitfalls of the studies. But there are a few of them that they give a thumbs up to that they say are pretty good. And so one of them was a study on K2, which is vitamin, and how long-term use of K2, which long-term is defined as 5 years, that you can reduce or reverse calcification in your arteries by taking a K2 supplement every day. And they started off with the test group, 2 test groups. Everybody in the groups had calcium levels that were over 800. Most of them were at 900, which is very bad. I mean, you're just a walking stroke or walking heart attack at that point. You have calcification and calcium levels that high in your veins. So, of course, the control group took the K2 supplement and magnesium. Those are the other things that went with it. And potassium, you had to make sure your electrolyte levels were adequate in order for your body to absorb the K2 and for it to work. And then the other group got the placebo every day. And over 5 years, they were monitoring the results of people. The people who took the K2 every day for 5 years were able to reduce their calcium number by 50 to 100 points every year. Most of them were now under 100. They were over 800 when the study started. Now they're under 100 after 5 years. So they were losing over 100 points a year. The group that took the placebo, they were still 800, 900, still elevated. Nothing changed from them. And so the study recommends that they tell you that you have calcification in your veins, in your arteries, they'll put you on a statin, they'll put you on some other drugs. But really, the best thing to reverse it, because K2, the vitamin, slowly takes the calcium out of your veins and shifts it, moves it to your bones, strengthens your bones. I don't know if it makes your bones stronger, but it redeposits the calcium into your bones. So you don't need a calcium blocker at that point, which is what they're going to want to put you on a calcium blocker, keep your body from absorbing calcium, as if that's the fix, and your bones need calcium. See, if they fix one problem, they create another problem. This is how these medicines work. You always got to pay the piper with medicines. There's always something else that's going to go wrong because of this medicine you're taking. So you have to decide, what is it that's more important to you today that you're willing to sacrifice tomorrow for? And so I mentioned this study to my last time I went to the primary care doctor. She's like, well, I haven't kept up with that study. She said, what publication was it in? So she wants to do the publication argument again. And she's already told me that she didn't, because she said, Microcell, no longer a magazine, and the online one, there's a reason they went out of business, or they only offered online, and it wasn't very good. And the people doing the reviews of the studies, have an agenda. They're all the anti-medicine. So, okay, so you don't believe in that. But this was in the journal, Internal Medicine. I gave her, I told her, the June edition, I told her what year it was. Okay, you go look it up. Well, she's like, well, that's not really my area of expertise. You should talk to your cardiologist about that when you meet with him in a couple of weeks. So I did. And then he's telling me, well, JR, those studies are misleading. So how so? He said, because they're not dealing with people like you. They're dealing with healthy people. And, you give a healthy person K2, they have a low calcification in arteries, yeah. But that would have cleared up on its own anyway, without the vitamin. And then, I let him go. I let him do his spiel. And then I had to remind and tell us, you need to go look at the study. These people had counseling scores over, and you had to be at 800 minimum to be included. My counseling score is nowhere near that high. But they took very sick people, followed them for 5 years. He said he's going to go take a look at it. No, I know he's not. And then my primary care doctor wants to put me on a statin drug. She says, well, your total cholesterol is high. So what's my total cholesterol? She said 100. And it was 90 the last time we tested, just 4 or 5 months ago. Like, yeah, but I'm on a carnivore diet now, where I eat mostly protein and fats. And as my body becomes fat adaptive, stop burning sugar and to burn fat, I need more cholesterol in my body to transport the fat to the cells. All the cells are now burning fat instead of sugar. My brain is burning fat rather than sugar. I need that cholesterol. Well, studies have shown, what studies, lady? She's before she even get the words out of her mouth, what studies? So you need to give me the study so I can go look it up. Because all of my research now is telling me that this cholesterol thing has been overhyped and just a big scare. And it was based on bad data from 1940s and 50s. That saturated fat is not the enemy. This country has been on a fat-free diet for years, decades. And we're getting fatter than ever on fat-free food. But we have all these hyper-processed foods, all these sugars, corn syrup, fructose, and everything. Soft drinks, bread, noodles. If it's in a box or package, it's processed. And I guarantee you somewhere there is something in it in an oats, which means it's some kind of sugar. So that's the battle that I have to have with it. Well, I highly recommend you take this statin drug so to lower your cholesterol. The recommendation is that you get your cholesterol, total cholesterol, under 70. So then I had to remind her of another study in JAMA. Over 100,000 patients who had died from heart attack or stroke, whose I guess their bodies, their autopsy and study. And they determined that cholesterol was not the issue. In fact, in the study, the first one I saw was from like 2014, years ago, old study. And it ranked the top 10 risk factors for short-term heart attack. LDL-C cholesterol was number 10 on the list. What was number 1? A high A1C, high insulin levels, high triglycerides, smoking, alcohol, lack of exercise. The first 3 or 4, that was 60% of the risk right there, those first 4. By the time you get to 10, which is only like 1%, at a 1% risk factor, wait a minute, I'm going to take a medication for the 1%, but you haven't said anything about my triglycerides, anything about my insulin levels. In fact, I asked to get my insulin tested, a resting insulin test. You told me that you guys don't do it, can't do it. Okay, well, contract it out. I'll go to a private hospital and get it done. Well, needless to say, I didn't get the resting insulin test done. It's okay. So these are kind of battles that I have, because I have to manage my health myself, or else I'd be dead dealing with my doctors. Glorified drug dealers. Because all they know is how to push the medicine. They know nothing about nutrition. They know nothing about vitamins. Nothing about the essential foods that you should be eating. They don't have enough good sense to even tell you to stay away from processed foods. Stay away from fast foods. My primary care doctor is a chunker. She's Indian. They eat a lot of rice. And I realized that the Indian population, I'm talking about India, not American Indians, that India has the highest level of obesity and diabetics in the world because they eat a lot of starchy foods, a lot of carbohydrates. She was a chunker. She's taking insulin and statins. She's telling me about her dad. She's like, well, I had to put my dad on it because he had a heart attack. So, I put him on a statin. It's like, lady, did it ever occur to you did maybe just stop eating all the damn rice, flour, all the starches? Maybe change your diet up, exercise a little bit? Never occurred to her. Just pills, injections. That's all they know. So she tells me, you need to take this up to your cardiologist. Because then I ask her, well, can you order a lipid panel test for me? If you say my cholesterol is high, and it's bad to have high cholesterol, and there is one form of cholesterol, because all the cholesterol is pretty much the same. HDL, LDL, intermediate DL. So there's high, intermediate, low, and there's another category that's like glyceride. They have a name for it. I just can't remember off the top of the dome. In that really small, high, really low density, some call it a ball, but that cholesterol can be bad for you. And that is true. But you know how you can determine if your LDL cholesterol is good or bad for you by getting a lipid panel test done. So I asked, I said, well, can you order one for me? So just so I can see. So if I'm making progress, I'm not making progress, so I can see where I need to make some tweaks. You tell me all this saturated fat that I'm eating, bacon, sausage, I eat lots of it. We go through 20 pounds of bacon in my household every month. My wife buys eggs by the dozens. We buy the box of 60 dozen with 60 eggs in it, 5 dozen. We go through that a month. Italian sausage, 20 pounds a month. Jimmy Dean's breakfast sausage, 10 pounds a month. I have 3-4 eggs every day. And I primarily eat the eggs for one, are good for you. They're saturated. They satiate you, I'm sorry. But also it's a good source of what they call lecithin, which helps takes calcium out of the arteries also, like K2, and moves into the bones. And so the doctors will recommend that you get at least 3,600 milliliters of this every day to help reverse any artery disease that you have. And of course, then they recommend a supplement that they use this code and you get 10% off. But then I found out from a nutritionist that one egg, just one, has 3,660 milligrams of this stuff in it already. So I was like, okay, we'll just boil some eggs. I keep boiled eggs in the refrigerator on standby. So that if I don't make eggs with the meat in the meeting, I at least eat an egg every day. But generally, I scramble eggs, I fry eggs, poach, over hard, over easy. Sometimes I do sunny side up, leave the yolk in there so I can soak it up. So I try different things. But we go through a lot of meat in this house, a lot of fatty meat. When I smoke my brisket, I save the tallow. When I smoke a ham, I save the lard that comes off the ham, or smoked shoulder. I smoked a duck for the first time, and I knew ducks were greasy. I knew it was this greasy. But I got 2 jars of duck grease out of it. Duck grease is very good when you cook your eggs. Man, I love that stuff. I was talking to my wife. I said, I'm surprised somebody didn't bottle this up and sell it. But she went online and she found that someone had thought to bottle up the duck grease, duck fat, and sell it. Very expensive. I'm like, it would be cheap for me to just buy a duck once a month and smoke it. So we save all the bacon grease. Every time we cook bacon, hamburgers. Well, the hamburger grease I give to the dogs. I mix it with their food. But bacon grease, put in jars and save it. Every time I scramble eggs, cook eggs, need to fry something, cook pork chop. I got a big bucket of lard. And that I use sparingly. but it has so much other bacon fat and other fat from briskets and everything else, and the hams and the pork shoulders, that I don't even have to dip into the Lord. But all that fat is good for you. I mean, that's how our ancestors would cook food. It wasn't that long ago. Before they had canola oil and vegetable oil and all these seed oils, these seed oils were used to be lubricants for machines. This stuff is disgusting stuff. Go watch some videos on how they make it. It is absolutely disgusting. All the things they have to do to it. And not just how they have to hydrate it, just to make it somewhat digestible. But the stuff stinks. It tastes bad. They have to add all kind of flavor enhancers and dyes to it. Deodorizer to take away the stench. This stuff is horrible. And if you look at the studies when the FDA approved cooking oil, the Cisco was the first ones to come out with it, corn oil, seed oils, because this stuff is cheap. Pig lard, which is what your grandparents and before great-grandparents cooked with, they kept a jar of it on the stove. And after they fried something with it, whatever they had left over, they poured it back in the can. Stuff doesn't go bad. My bacon grease, now I bottle up any excess that I'm not going to use right away and put on the shelf. Put it in jars, cap it up. But I have the jars that I do use, and the bacon grease being the most, it's never been capped. The stuff doesn't go bad. Even when in the summertime, we sometimes have flies in the house, they don't fool with it. You would think that would be the first thing they would go after, all that good fat. No, they don't. But it adds a lot of flavor to the food, and it fills you up. When I tell my cardiologist this, what I eat, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. Oh, Jerry, you're going to kill yourself with all that saturated fat. No, doctor, the saturated fat is what keeps me alive. Keeps me healthy. That's why my blood markers are going down. And then I asked him, I said, well, can you order me the lipid panel test? Because the doctor, my primary care doctor, told me my cholesterol is high. He starts talking around. He didn't give me an answer. He said, well, why don't you want to reduce your cholesterol? And so I tell him about this study, where people are studying folks who have brain diseases. Lou Gehrig's, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson. You know what they all have in common? Over 100,000 patients examined? What they all had in common. Not one was an exception. Or as they say in bond time, not one. What they all had in common was they had low cholesterol levels. Under 70. Wait a minute, this is the same number you're trying to push me under. And I'm already in my I'm 61 years old. I'll be 62 on my next birthday. I'm getting at that age now where I don't want to end up brain dead. Not knowing who I am, not knowing, recognizing my kids, not knowing who my wife is. Trapped inside my head. I don't want that. So the cardiologist tried to counter that with, well, but I need to keep you alive, because if I don't keep you alive, you don't have to worry about it. That generally happens to people in their 80s. But if I don't get you to 80, you don't have to, you don't have to worry about that, because you'll be dead. So let me make sure I'm clear. If I don't get back on your drugs or statins, you say I'm going to die? No, your risk of dying is going to go up. Okay, I'll take my chances. But can you order the lipid panel test for me so I can see what my LDL-C score is? Once again, no answer. And I just recently had to give some information for insurance about medicines I was taking and tests that have been ordered for me in the last year. So I'm logging into my health account. And I'm searching around, poking around, and I finally find the tab where they have my test results. I didn't realize I had taken so many damn tests. I mean, I take a lab, I give blood once a month. I just thought these were just metabolic tests they were doing. Didn't realize that when I was in the hospital after my surgery, They did a lipid panel test on me before the surgery, and it was bad. And they did another one on my blood sample in September, much improved. That LDL-C number that I told you was very bad, mine's not so bad. It was actually very good. And if you listen to Dr. Ken Berry, he'll tell you that you don't have to worry about that number. Dr. Eric Berg will tell you the same thing. You don't have to worry about total cholesterol being high. Here's the cholesterol you have to worry about. As long as your liver, the receptors in your liver are capturing the cholesterol and recycling it, then you're good. You can have total cholesterol of 200, 250. In fact, I saw a thoracic heart surgeon being interviewed. He said his total cholesterol was over 250. He said this was normal just 70, 80 years ago. 200, 250 was a normal score. It wasn't until we overhyped saturated fat, telling everybody that cholesterol was killing them, that everything had to be cholesterol-free, fat-free, and we got fatter than ever, sicker than ever. Once we started cutting fat out of our diet. So I eat regularly. Now I would highly recommend that you do the same. But anyway, I'm almost out of time. I may go a few minutes over. I'm sharing all this with you on a personal level for a very simple reason. I want you to manage your health care. Use ChatGPT, use Copilot, use Gemini, use WebMD, use whatever you want. Don't just take your doctor's word for it that this medicine is safe. Look it up for yourself. Ask them about the side effects. If they don't give you a side effect, they don't give you like a commercial. Okay, well, it's been reported that you have uncontrolled bowel movements, increased death, suicide. They don't start reeling off what the side effects are. Then you go out there and you look it up for yourself. And if you can live with the side effects, then okay, take the medicine. If you decide, yeah, I can, these conditions, I can't take the chance. Go back to your doctor and tell them, hey, we got to find another way to get this done. But this medicine here is dangerous. And don't be afraid to do peer reviews yourself. You can do a peer review on a study. Find some studies, Google search, medical studies on whatever topic you want, with a double-blind peer review, published by a reputable magazine, health magazine. They'll start reading them off for you. Start reading those, and you decide for yourself, looking at the reviewer. Find out who sponsored the study. If it's big food or big pharma, then you may want to move on to the next study that's not subsidized by them. 75% of the studies out there, they pay for. They give a lot of money to the universities for these studies. A lot of studies are misleading. You say, well, Gerald, how do you know? You know what? You walk me down the aisle. I tell you what, you don't believe me. Go down the cereal aisle in the store. Pick up a box of Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios. You know what's going to have on there? Approved by the American Heart Association. Cheerios is dangerous. When I was in the hospital, I decided to do some testing myself. I would eat a bowl of Cheerios and with 2 little cartons of 2% milk. Like I said, they would test my blood sugar before and after. Before, I ate the cereal, I don't know, glucose level under 120. 110, 115, 101. Okay, pretty decent. After I ate the cereal, 175, 180. Oh, and Gerald, we got to give you 4 units of insulin now. Wait a minute. All I ate was a damn bowl of cereal? And that warrants a damn insulin injection? Yes. So I waited a couple of days. I tried again with just plain corn chips. Not corn chips. I was going to say Frosted Flakes. It's not called Frosted Flakes. It's the Frosted Flakes without the sugar. I can't think of it. But it's corn something. Cornflakes. That's what it is. Cornflakes. Just cornflakes, plain cornflakes, and 2% milk. I didn't quite get the 80, 90 point jump, but I didn't get a 50-point jump. And you want to give me 2 units of insulin now to deal with it. Okay, so I know how to deal with this. No more breakfast cereal. And guess what? Cornflakes. American Diabetes Association seal of approval, American Heart Association seal of approval. All these foods with these seals of approval are bad for you. Not only do they put the seal of approval on it because these associations are just selling out. These organizations, General Mills, and the rest of them, big food, are just giving money to them. Hell, M&M Mars could probably get the American Heart Association to certify a Snickers bar and there are peanuts, M&M peanuts, as being healthy if they give enough money. You have to get involved and manage your health yourself. Don't leave it up to your doctor. Don't be afraid to push back on them and challenge them. Let them know that, hey, I would like to try some natural remedies first. Or if I'm going to do the medicine, a much lower dose with diet and exercise to see what happens. And if I get this down naturally, then I'm going to pull back on the drug. You have to get involved and make decisions for yourself. Because if not, they'll load you up on pills. This is how they get their trips to Fiji. When they do the pharmaceuticals, always have nice conventions in Hawaii, Fiji, Canary Island. I mean, all great places. But if you don't write enough prescriptions, and they define that as that you have to have 50 plus 1, majority of your patients on their medicine to qualify. So these doctors will quickly write these prescriptions and put you on these medications. And they may not kill you right away, but they will kill you over time. And here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. And I got this from a Dr. Kim Berry video. He said 2024 was the first year in recorded history that people were dying from medical complications more than the disease that they were treating. I'm like, what? That don't make any sense. So I continue to watch the video. And he defined, he said, when they say medical complication, when they say someone died from medical complications, you think the condition killed them, the diabetes, the heart, stroke? No. The medication killed them. That's their way of saying the medication killed him. He died from heart complications. He died from diabetes complications. The medicine killed him, not the condition, the medicine. And for the first time, 2024 was the first year that we've been keeping track of all this, that the number of people dying from the medication exceeded the number of people dying from the condition. You have to manage your health yourself. You have to be in charge of your health. It's your life. It's not theirs. If you don't take precautions, if you don't care about it enough to go check on the side effects, the research and stuff on your own, you got time to watch the game, you got time to go shopping, you got time for the desperate housewives of wherever city. But you don't have time to spend 15, 20 minutes researching a prescription, some medicine they want you to take, a foreign substance in your body. You have time to go look at the videos from Dr. Kim Berry and the rest of them who are trying to tell you how to reverse these conditions and get healthy. Then you deserve what you get. Straight talk, grown folks talk. I'm not sugarcoating this. I want it to be hard. I want to get your attention. So please, I beg of you. If you've been passive, just go along. Don't push back on your doctor. And never tell you. The last lipid panel test that they ordered for me, my doctors wouldn't even tell me they did it. Because they knew that if I looked at that lipid panel test and went down, it's going to break down all the cholesterol numbers. HDL, LDL, IDL, there's another DL, because there's another cholesterol level. There's like 4 of them. And then they break down the LDL, supposedly the bad cholesterol, to like 3 or 4 categories. But the bottom category is the number you have to watch out for. That's the one that's dangerous. If that number is high, then yeah, you do have a cholesterol problem. But if that number is not high, if it's in the normal range, then your total cholesterol can be 300-400. You're fine. That means your liver is recycling it. You have your body become more fat adaptive. Then maybe you're on a carnivore diet. Maybe you're on a keto diet. Who knows? Maybe you just eat a lot of really fatty meat hamburgers from McDonald's. But whatever it is, your body is dealing with it. They wouldn't even share lipid panel results from September with me because they knew that I would use that as fuel and evidence. So guess what? When I go back, next month I go back to my primary care doctor in February. I'm going to bring this up. I found this lipid panel test here. Look at this number. Look at that number. Look at what it says. I'm going to bring it up my cardiologist in March when I have to go visit him. Show him the same thing. And I'm going to let him know, put you on warning. This is the last time that you order tests that I've asked you for. I asked you to do a lipid valve test. And okay, you did it, but you didn't tell me the results. If it happens again, I'm going to report you. I'm going to file a complaint. I'm not asking you for the test just to be asking you for it. I'm not a hypochondriac. I always look for something. I'm trying to find some markers that I can measure to see if I'm making progress or not making progress. Every now and then I treat myself to some cookies or potato chips. Not that frequently. I mean, I used to eat this stuff all the time. All the time. Snickers, chocolate with candy, still addicted. It's one of my favorite things to eat, chocolate with nuts. Any kind of chocolate chip cookies with nuts. Potato chips, especially the Ruffles, with milk. Love it. But after I know that I can't eat this stuff the way I did before. I get sick again. I'll die. So I have to do this. This has to be like an every other month kind of deal, every month kind of deal. But even that may be too much. I don't know. So that's why I need the test results, so I can see, I can measure. Don't keep information from me, please. If you don't want to admit that I'm right about something, that's fine. I don't care, but it's not an ego thing with me. This is my health. For you, all you see is some lay person coming into your office, pushing back, telling you what they're not going to do and what they're not going to take, telling you about these studies, these videos they've watched. When you've gone to med school, you've gone to school, you've gotten certified, you've done a residency, you've done a practice, you've done this. Okay, I'm not diminishing anything that you've done. I'm just trying to manage my health care the best I can. I don't mind trusting you a little bit, but you know what? This action right now made me a lot more untrust. You now showing yourself to be untrustworthy. But if it continues to happen, I'll just fire you and get another doctor. Get another primary care doctor. Get another cardiologist. I don't care how much time it takes you to find another. But I need to be able to trust what you're telling me. So we need to take all the ego out of it. So I'm going to let them know. I don't mean to be combative. I'm not trying to fight with you. It's not a battle of wits. You know more about medicine than I do. I just need you to be straight and honest with me. So anyway, I've gone a little bit over my time, guys. I've shared my rants with you. I've vented with you, so thank you for letting me vent a little bit. I get a little passionate about this because it's personal with me. I hope it's personal with you. But please, if you have high blood pressure, you have any blood pressure medicine, you have any kind of vascular disease, they say you have calcification in your arteries or veins, please go. If you don't do nothing else, the first two, Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Tony Hampton, go take a look. They're straight shooters. They keep it simple. They'll tell you the ins and outs. Dr. Hampton does a lot of experiment on himself. He tests stuff out before he go and advise you to do it. But definitely, and go back to the archive. Look at the old videos. There's a wealth of information out there. They'll tell you about these statin drugs. They'll tell you about metformin. They'll tell you about a bunch of other drugs. They'll tell you about things like don't use mouthwash, because mouthwash kills the good bacteria and the bad bacteria in your mouth. But the good bacteria will take like luncheon meat, nitrates that are in the meats. My doctors told me that, you don't want to consume too many nitrates. It's bad for you. But the nitrates, the bacteria in your mouth will take that and convert it to a nitrite. And then your gut takes that and converts it to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens your veins up. So you don't have to go take a B supplement or some pill or tablet that, to get nitric oxide in your system. You can just eat some lunch meat. Eat a hot dog. I know that the people tell you this meat is bad for you, but no, a hot dog, lunch meat, over-the-counter deli stuff, that meat is better for you than the best vegetable and the best processed food out there. And like I said, there are plenty of doctors out there that will tell you, when they give you the truth about nutrition, they'll tell you the same thing. Everything that you need for your body to get healthy. It's not going to get healthy overnight. It didn't get sick overnight. It took me 40 years to poison my body. I have no expectation, even though I've lost weight, got my blood pressure down, got my glucose under control, got my A1C coming down. I'm not operating in the condition that I'm healthy. In 1 year, less than 1 year. So it has to be a lifestyle change for me. It has to be long term. You don't get sick overnight, you're not going to get healthy overnight. But you have to start someplace. Don't wait till you're 60 years old like me to get serious about taking care of your health. If you're young, before you get sick, before you poison your body to the point of no return, start taking measures now. A lot less processed food, a lot less sugar, a lot less starches. Stay away from the juices, sodas, anything with corn syrup in it, fructose. Even oatmeal is not good for you. All the oatmeals and multigrains, they feed the animals to fatten them up. You don't believe me? Talk to somebody who's worked on a farm before, who lives in the country. Ask, what are you doing to fatten the pig up? What are you doing to fatten up your livestock? They feed them oatmeal. But oatmeal has the Heart Association seal of approval on it. You're constantly eating something that you think is healthy that's making you fat. Then you add the maple syrup, the peach, the apple cinnamon, all that sugar added onto it. Now you're just making it worse. So anyway, guys, I'm beyond my time, so thank you a lot. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Please like the video and help you guys spread the word. I'm trying to grow my channel. And you helping me get the word out there would be a great help. We will return tomorrow night. I look at my chart. I have a list of topics, and I apologize because everything's been pushed back because we had to do a special episode last night. So maybe it's probably going to be one on fitness, or it's going to be one on finance and economics. So we'll see. But anyway, it will be informative. I'll give you a straight scoop. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to pull any punches. No political correctness here. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, what I think, and what I know. The best of my ability. Thank you very much. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Good night.